let's get into the tables and see how it shapes up here between Dingo and Kanister. All right, winners match. Kanister's on top, Dingo's on the bottom, and you see a little force negation here. Goryo's mentions that waterlog teachings is an interesting one. It does pitch to multiple pitch things, which is kind of cool. And then on Dingo's side, lots of Titan's Furies and the Blood Moon you called out as well. So Blood Moon can be pretty effective against this Esper deck, and looks like we have Kanister on the play. We're going to see the old tap land. How about just Dimir Guildgate go?
That can sometimes be a tutor, yeah, and that force negation is going to matter a lot because I'm sure Dingo's just going to be trying to suss out if he has a force negation to get the Blood Moon through.
All right, it's Ocelot Pride at the play of the Plains. We see Flood Strand from Kanister. Gonna fat crack the fetch. And then the Archaeologist here can get in the way of Pride pretty well. So here's an Archaeologist, middle of the top three. The Strand, some other land I can't tell, or an Ephemerate. So Ephemerate goes to hand if Kanister should show choose, unless Kanister wants a 1/4 here, which is also an option as well. You can choose nothing. And there's the Ephemerate to hand. So we got an 0/3 blocker for the Ocelot Pride, Ephemerate, Solitude, Force, pretty juiced in for Kanister.
Yeah,
Dingo's going to play.
Sorry, that Ephemerate's really good too with the Archaeologist.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, just kind of a way to kind of keep going forever. And then the blocks here are important too. Against the Ragavan Ocelot Pride deck, the 0/3 body, not too shabby. So Pride comes in, eats a block, and we see a post-combat Goblin Bombardment. 2-mana enchantment, you can sack a creature to deal 1 to anything. Great once things start to get going, but need to go a little bit more here. Q with the Flage also can sack that one before trigger goes off. So draw for Kanister. Watergrave is the draw, third land. And now where's Kanister at? So the token's starting to come. What do you think Kanister's next move should be?
Honestly, with the Goryos in hand, I would just want to see a little bit more cards, right? Because the longer this game goes, the more creatures they give the bombardment they control a bit more. So right now is like a pretty good spot just to make them have it, right?
So there you go. Kanister agrees. So Ephemerate on the Archaeologist will mill 3 cards. Looking for a big creature, not seeing one. We see Thoughtseize, Vengeance, and Swamp. So has another Vengeance available. Also Thoughtseize too, I suppose. But as far as finding, a big creature for the graveyard, doing the Goryo thing, not quite yet. This Thoughtseize, though, might pick up this Blood Moon, which will be a huge swing.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that right now.
So here comes Thoughtseize. 2 life lost. With a hand of Flage, and then any other card, probably taking any other card here. So Blood Moon likely going away. And there's kind of never-ending parade of Flages here. Each Flage does deal 4, thanks to the bombardment. So you think that maybe Dingo could go on like a burn plan? Just kind of go for the burnout?
I think that's the way to go here.
All right, so we see an Ajani Nakata Pariah is the draw. That's also pretty sweet alongside the Goblin Bombardment. Does Dingo agree? I'm not going to go for a Flash. So here comes the Flash. We're going to see a Lightning Helix effect. And then, of course, you can stack the trigger and fire up the bombardment. So 3 damage to the Archaeologist goes to the bin. 1 damage on the way out. Flashes to the graveyard. And now the Prides are free to roam. So in for 2 damage. And we'll see another token here also. And what's Kanister's path here? The Flash is waiting in the graveyard. The board's starting to get big. What's Kanister's plan?
I mean, with the Soft and Ephemerate, they can always just kind of save a bit of life there. They could play the blocker just to conserve a bit more life, and really just they want to just flip over that Atraxa.
Ooh, actually,
are they gonna do it now?
Little Solitude right now. So it's a pretty big cost. This costs the Ephemerate, which obviously would be very good with the Archaeologist, but Kanister says no, I can't do this anymore. Ocelot Pride's got to go. So evoke the Solitude. The Pride will probably go up for to the face for 1 damage, and then the little remaining cat will get him for 1. So 14 life for Kanister, avoiding the damage as much as possible. Rebound that Ephemerate's got no targets. That was also a big loss when the Archaeologist died. And Grizzlebrand's the draw. Missed it by that much. Not quite. So Archaeologist coming down here. Just missed milling the Grizzlebrand. And now she's figured out a way to get this big creature into the graveyard. So Archaeologist will go. Trigger reveals Force Negation, Grief, and Tainted Indulgence. Can get it in the graveyard. And that'll be the choice. And it's a setup, but it's kind of a slow one.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate on the flips this game. And that's part of like the big cost on the ephemerate there is that if he didn't solve Tooth there, he could see at least 3 or 6 more cards.
So flat's the draw for Dingo. Put another card in the graveyard for Flage, which is kind of cool. We're going to see this cat poke in for 1 very innocently. And there's the blocks. So very exciting combat step. Post combat, we're going to see a Johnny Nakatl Pariah, it looks like. Maybe some pings to finish off this 0-3. And there's a cat.
And now we're going to see some more damage and potentially, most likely, a flip at Johnny.
All right, so Billy's being activated. Bombardment throws the cat at the 0-3 Archaeologist. This will trigger the Ajani to flip over into the Planeswalker. Ajani Nakatl, is that Avenger? I think it's Avenger.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna. Oh, right. So only 1 ping is necessary. The red permanent in play from the bombardment helps to facilitate the second ability on Ajani. Makes a cat token, deals 2 damage, and now we got an army of cats. We got a fetch line and the Flage is in the chamber also. And Kanister has the indulgence to bin the Grizzlebrand, but doesn't have the mana available to vengeance it as well.
So I think probably you're thinking either the Tainted Indulgence or the Shadowy Backstreet. But I would assume you want to see a few more cards first. Ideally, see that untap land and then flip over, hopefully, an Atraxa here.
Yeah,
a little low on life for the Grizzlebrand.
All right, so we're going to see a Scry instead before the Indulgence. Maybe get super lucky here, hit an Atraxa. Surveil lands are excellent in this deck. Occasionally you just get a free Entomb, which is awesome. And looks like we're looking at a Prismatic Ending. Thoughts on the ending?
I guess it's fine to help remove the Goblin Bombardment because that's going to give him a little bit of reach. The issue is just that there's already a couple bodies and also a Planeswalker just creating bodies. So there's just, I think you really just want to try to get to the Reanimator plan.
All right, so Kanister agrees, bins the card. It says go with the Indulgence up as well as Force Negation. Dingo draws another Ajani. Now you can have an Ajani, Nakatl Pariah, and Nakatl Avenger in play, even though that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then, of course, Flage is almost there as well. And, I mean, Kanister's still at 14, but there's a lot of damage available from the Planeswalker, the Flage, and the Bombardment available. How much time does Kanister have here?
Well, I will assume just 2 more turns at most, because we're also looking at Arena of Glory and a Flage in the graveyard with Marsh Flats to find another Surveil land to fuel it up. Or to sacrifice a Johnny.
Was the Flats available on Kanister's end step?
I don't think so.
Okay. So here comes the 2/1 cat tokens, attacking for 4. Kanister's going to take 4, go down to 10. And we're going to see another Ajani. Also important that the Arena of Glory in play is a way to give things haste. Can be very, very powerful alongside Flage. And we're going to see an Indulgence in response to the Ajani, drawing a Psychic Frog and a Marsh Flats. And the condition on Indulgence, actually, okay, I missed one. I apologize. The condition on Tainted Indulgence was actually met, which is if you have 5 or more different mana values in your graveyard, you do not discard a card. So Indulgence was actually not a way to discard the Grizzlebrand. Definitely a real tough game for Kanister there. Just couldn't hit the flips, drew the wrong cards at the wrong time. A lot of awkward things happening. Got to pack it up and go into game 2. So what do you think Kanister's got to do here to turn us around for game number 2?
Probably just keep a more aggressive hand, right? And then bring in some of the board wipes over there, like Deluge and Wrath of the Skies. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, binning a big creature at some point would have been a good way to go. I definitely agree. Obviously the game changes for a graveyard deck post board. Graveyard hate on Dingo's side is a couple Soul Guide Lanterns, not too much actually, a couple Celestial Purges, nothing too crazy. Also maybe Sun Cleansers as well, even though there's not a huge energy element to Kanister's list. There is a little bit in the.
I think it's just a heads-up play around potentially Wrath of the Skies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The alternate arts are getting me. Being a commentator is tough these days, But yeah, Wrath of the Skies still hanging on the board, though. So there's some leveling going on here where Dingo's concerned with Wrath of the Skies. Kanister's not even bringing him in. So love the little sideboard games, which is great. And Yeah, Dingo. I mean, I can't just be a bit aware of the graveyard hate and be able to kind of be ready to play a game where the graveyard might not be as reliable as possible. So we're all set up to go into game 2 here. Some fast games today, and Kanister will be in the play and to try and make some moves here and take this one down. All right, so Kanister's going to open up the old basic plain psychic frog hand. It's all working out for Kanister. That's going to be a mulligan for sure. And then on the bottom side, we got Terminal Oscilla Pride, Guide of Souls, Bombardment, Johnny, Fable. Great hand for Dingo. So
Kanister's like going classic energy hand.
Right, yeah, just all the cards you want on curve. So we got the mulligan from Kanister, shows us a hand with some tap lands and attracts them. Not that bad though. Got a Solitude as well. So Foundry from Dingo, going to play the Guide of Souls over the Pride. Let me see a Godless. Sorry, it's a Godless Shrine, that Astral Land. For an Archaeologist. Top 3 off of Kanister's library.
I can't be Ephemerate.
An Archive and a Flats at the bin and an Ephemerate. Cool. Back over Dingo's way. Flats gets cracked. And again, the kind of annoying 0-3 in play, but Oscilla Pride for days. Double Oscilla Pride. Life gain triggers out the wazoo. Pretty good start from Dingo, I would say, right?
Mm-hmm. And especially important that he didn't bring in the Wrath of Skies too, so it's going to be so much more difficult to clean up all these cats.
Yeah, this is the ideal scenario of didn't bring in Wrath of Skies and also didn't draw Sun Cleanser on Dingo's side too. So all the good things are happening here. Here's a bunch of tokens, here's a bunch of life, here's a bunch of energy. We got 4 energy for Dingo, 21 life. Board's getting huge. City's Blessing is approaching as well. Kanister draws a Goryo's Vengeance, but nothing in the graveyard or a way to get it there yet. Kanister's struggling a bit here. Oh, there is access to Solitude Ephemerate, which is pretty cool. What's the targets from Solitude, do you think?
That's really tough between Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride, because Pride, if you can't stop it, since he's going to gain life regardless, he's going to hit City's Blessing pretty quickly. But Guide of Souls also just makes the creatures really big. I would assume you want to get at least one of the prides out of the way, just like now.
All right, so we see the Evoke on Solitude. Ephemerate's ready to rock and roll. Gonna go after the Guide of Souls. So Guide of Souls is gone. I assume the Pride will also be gone. We'll leave a 3-1 Lifelinker in play, which is a good body to kind of stem the tide here a little bit. There are only 1/1s in play on Dingo's side of the board. So there's Solitude. Dingo will untap, take a draw. We see a Ragavan and a Bombardment. The Bombardment can take care of the Solitude with some cat tokens. But Dingo missing land drops here, and things are falling apart a little bit on Dingo's side.
Oh, but the first strike and the Goblin Bombardment here is so good.
Yeah, so the first strike on the Pride does complicate the combat math for Solitude. The 0-3 is still there to block, though. That 0-3 has been really annoying on Kanister's side, but Kanister hasn't been able to take the time it's created to convert it into anything useful yet. So Pride's coming in. Kanister's thinking about these blocks here. What are your thoughts on blocks? What should Kanister be doing here?
I would probably just still block with the Archaeologist, and then ideally purge the Bombardment afterwards, which is a pretty big cost because you want to save the purge for the Flage.
All right, we see a Solitude block. So first strike damage is going to go off. And I imagine we'll see a cat thrown at it from the Goblin Bombardment. So Solitude's gone. No life gained on Kanister's side. Life gain on Dingo's side makes a cat as well. So 24 life, couple cats. Rebound on the Ephemerate is pretty big game. So now able to fire this Archaeologist. Has a good shot here hitting a big creature for Goryo's Vengeance. That'd be pretty sweet.
Just one time. Come on.
Nope, not this time either. We got a Psychic Frog and another Archaeologist. Draws the Emperor Bones. Still no third land. Tough match so far for Kanister.
Yeah. Lands are pretty rare today.
Yeah. So Emperor Bones is available as a 2-drop that can adapt and return things from the graveyard. But again, the problem here is there are no things that are in the graveyard that are that useful. Could Archaeologist again also has the Purge available? What do you think here? You think Kanister should develop the board to kind of play Archaeologist, or maybe just go after this Goblin Bombardment? It's been really, really annoying.
I think it has to be Goblin Bombardment. It's a really tough spot to be in. But the Goblin Bombardment is just letting Dingo convert cast to damage and just control the board.
All right, so it looks like Kanister agrees. Dingo does find land number 3 here in Sacred Foundry, which turns on the Fable. or perhaps a Ragavan Johnny turn. We're gonna see, here's the Ragavan. Johnny also is able to flip thanks to the bombardment as well. Although maybe we'll see the purge in response to the things here. Big tense moment.
Yeah. Because I'm sure he's also thinking about the likelihood of a Johnny following afterwards.
Yeah. So here's a Johnny. Now we'll see this purge, I can only assume. Purge take out the Goblin Bombardment to deny the flip on a Johnny, at least for a little bit here. So Purge eats Bombardment. And now what do you think? Should Dingo fire off any shots here on the way out?
I think that it would be fine to sacrifice the Ragavan, the 2 cats, to clear the way for the Ocelot Pride to get through. Was it a 1/4? It was a 1/4, right? It's not a
Yeah, so the Archaeologist missed is actually a 1/4. And we see the big creatures 1 card off. Oh my god, Kanister. All right, so Praxis the draw, still 2 lands in play. The 1/4 Archaeologist is holding off the board. I mean, to an extent, right? It does block Ragavan and Ocelot Pride pretty well. But you know, it's not gonna be able to block forever. The board's getting quite large here. Here's an Archaeologist revealing Grief Ending and Ephemerate. And this has been a tough one.
Yeah, tough one for Reanimator fans today. Sometimes you just have 3 amulets, and sometimes you just never see a Reanimator target.
So what do you think here? I guess ending Ephemerate. Kanister thinks Ephemerate. So back over Dingo's way. And this is quite the attacking squad. Now, again, if the Ocelot Pride were to die, it would flip the Ajani. You know, at what point are you just happy like throwing a creature away to flip a Johnny?
I don't think we're ever happy to flip that Ajani, but I mean, that way works.
All right, so we're going to see the Ajani thrown away, actually. This will not flip the Ajani. We'll get some damage in off of the cats.
But we can still flip it regardless.
Right. Sorry. I mistook Ajani as a 2/1, not a 1/2. It's a 1/2, correct. So it does not die there. Second copy will flip it, though. So second Johnny down, Legend Rule kills it. First Johnny will flip, and we have a Planeswalker Johnny, another cat available. Now I got the damage on the Planeswalker also. This is just going to the face. And Wrath guys will be pretty good right now.
Yeah,
Wrath not castable, but
still would look good though.
It would look nice, yes. So we see an Ephemerate here. At this point, the city's blessing has been achieved. There are cats everywhere. And now the Ajani is lethal with 1 shot. And that's going to do it, yeah. So, unfortunate for Kanister, some really, really rough draws.